Getting started with LinkedIn. This screencast will give you a brief overview of LinkedIn and then explain how you can register and set up your own LinkedIn profile. What is LinkedIn? LinkedIn is an online network used by more than 175 million professionals globally. Members use LinkedIn to create a profile that showcases their experience, knowledge and skills, which they then use to connect with other professionals. LinkedIn is designed to help you to exchange knowledge, ideas and opportunities with other users. However, unlike other online networks such as Facebook, which tend to be more informal and used socially to communicate with friends, LinkedIn is career-focused and is designed for professional networking. Once you have registered on LinkedIn and created a profile, you can start to join interest groups, find out more about potential employers and career sectors, and search for job vacancies. Why is LinkedIn relevant to my career? LinkedIn can be a really useful tool for career development. By creating a LinkedIn account, you are starting to build your own professional brand, and lots of people tend to see their LinkedIn profile as an online version of their CV. Like a CV, your aim is to promote your skills, strengths and experiences, and you can tailor your profile to suit a specific sector that you'd like to get into. Once you've built your profile, you can start to connect with and expand your network of professional contacts. For example, typically your LinkedIn network might include other students on your course, lecturers you feel you have developed a good academic relationship with, graduate recruiters you have met at careers fairs or events, and managers or colleagues from internships or volunteering opportunities you have undertaken. As you grow your network, you may start to add further professionals who work in areas you are interested in finding out more about in order to build a network of useful career contacts. You can also use LinkedIn to help you to think about and consider different career options. For example, you can search for specific companies and organisations and then read their profile, or join specific interest groups and ask other members questions. And finally, you can also use LinkedIn to find graduate jobs and internships. In fact, it is often suggested that more and more vacancies will be advertised in this way in the future, and graduate recruiters tell us that they are increasingly using social media in their recruitment campaigns. How do I set up an account? We're now going to look at how you actually go about setting up a LinkedIn profile, and whilst we go through this, I will share with you some best practice advice. First of all, you need to go to LinkedIn and register. This is where you will need to enter some basic information to get started, but we have already created a typical student profile to show you, so let's take a look at that now. This is Sophia's profile as seen by other LinkedIn users. However, if we click on the Profile tab, then Edit Profile, we can show you how to input information. Within this view, you will notice small edit icons next to each section. By clicking on these, you can input and modify content. However, it is worth remembering that LinkedIn does not have a spell check feature, so it might be worth drafting some content in a Word document and then copying and pasting this across. As a general point, when you are drafting information to include, do try to write positively, make use of action verbs to stress your achievements and convey enthusiasm. Just like when writing a CV or personal statement, your aim is to market exactly what you have to offer. So with this in mind, it can be helpful to see your LinkedIn profile a bit like your very own branded professional advert. On the right hand of the screen, you will also notice a useful information box which indicates how complete your profile is and illustrates your progress. Ideally, you should aim to have a 100% complete profile. If you want to complete your profile quickly and you have an up-to-date CV handy, you can choose to upload this and LinkedIn will automatically import information from your CV onto your profile. However, we would advise you use this feature with caution and check that information is presented consistently and within the correct sections on your eventual LinkedIn profile. Now let's take a look at each of the sections in a bit more detail. The first section that appears at the top of your profile forms a basic overview. Unlike with CVs, it is generally recommended that you do add a photo of yourself, as this helps to personalise your profile and make you seem much more approachable. You can also add a professional headline as a very brief summary of your current situation and interest area. You are limited to 140 characters, so this is an ideal way to sum up your professional identity in just one short phrase. The idea of this is to catch people's attention and quickly make a positive impact. Once you add past and present employment details later on, a summary of these will also appear in this first section. The next section is called your summary. Here you can expand on your original headline and give a bit more detail about yourself. This should form a concise personal statement that highlights key achievement and experience that is relevant to an area of work you wish to enter. You might like to briefly describe the value of any work experience you have gained, skills or strengths that you feel you have developed either through your academic studies or extracurricular activities, and mention any personal characteristics that would make you particularly suitable for a specific career area. As you can see here, Sophia's summary is well structured and suggests that she has given significant thought to her career direction. It is also clear that she has been proactive in gaining relevant work experience and likes to stay up to date with sector news and updates. She also draws out the most relevant skills she feels she has gained through her studies. The next section is designed to showcase your experience. Here you can include details of all the relevant jobs you have had. You can include all types of employment. For example, you can see here that Sophia's experience section includes a voluntary position in a community setting, an internship for a regional employer, and a work shadowing opportunity at a national company based in London. The key here is relevance to the sector that Sophia wants to enter. She is interested in human resources, and it is clear that all her jobs have elements that would provide useful HR-related experience. One thing to remember is that wherever possible, the summary of each role should be presented in a consistent way. You can see that after the title of each role, Sophia begins with a brief summary that describes the organisation or company, then moves on to her key responsibilities and what she has achieved during the experience, and finally summarises either learning points, positive impact, or showcases the skills, strengths, or insights she has gained. The next section provides an overview of your skills and expertise. To add skill areas, you simply click Edit and then start typing in the box. This will often bring up a list of possibilities to choose from. You can add up to 50 skills, although it isn't often necessary to add this many. You should think carefully about the picture you want to build up of yourself, and things that you add in this list should be evidenced in your wider profile. So in this case, less definitely can be more. To help you to do this, you may want to think carefully about the typical skills and characteristics of someone working within your chosen industry. You can also drag and drop each skill to reorder your list. So for example, as Sophia is interested in working in HR, she might want to suggest that a key skill she has is integrity. Once she has added this to her list, she can then move it to the beginning so that it's the first characteristic that a potential employer sees. The next section is all about your education. Here you can add details about your academic studies to date. This should include your current course and previous qualifications. Sometimes it is necessary to fill in the text boxes to suit your purpose rather than exactly as it indicates. For example, as Sophia wants to add the qualifications she achieved at sixth form, she entered A-levels in the field of study box and then detailed each subject and the grade she was awarded in the grade box. The next section we will look at is called recommendations. Once you have established your profile and made some contacts, you can approach people you know and ask them to recommend you. This simply means that they will provide a short reference for you, which will be displayed on your profile. The additional information section comes next. Here you can add links to other social media platforms such as Twitter or a blog that you might write. This can be a really good way to build up an online presence, particularly if you are considering an area of work that the use of social media is commonplace, for example, in journalism. However, it is worth remembering that you should only link to profiles that you are happy for potential employers and professional contacts to see. If you do use Twitter, Facebook or other platforms predominantly for personal and social communication, you may choose not to include a link so that you maintain a clear line between your personal and professional life. In this section, you can also include information about your interests, societies you might be part of, awards you have won, and significant achievements. Although this section perhaps is not always directly related to your career aspirations, by including some additional information, it can help to demonstrate your wider interests and help to add depth and character to your overall profile. You can then choose whether you'd like to include further personal information. It is advisable to think carefully about whether you wish to do this or not. Strategically, you may wish to channel all professional contacts through your LinkedIn profile in the first instance so that you can keep track of contacts and communications, and then share more contact information as you build up and develop a relationship. The final section of your profile allows you to specify what type of contacts you would like to receive from other professionals. If you click on the Change Contact Preferences icon, you will find a range of options to choose from. Are there any further resources available? We hope you have found this screencast helpful. Once you have set up your LinkedIn profile, you might find it useful to watch our second LinkedIn screencast, which focuses on making the most of your LinkedIn profile. And for more general support, LinkedIn have a number of online video tutorials and frequently asked questions within the online help centre. Good luck with your professional networking.